Business doesn't like how that looks either, because they think that page slow down because of that. So we're actually, we have a fix in that's going to go on our next release that blocks out that space. So that counter actually isn't, counter starts off right there, and that spot's just blank, and then pops in there. But that's not, that's just JavaScript. And I mean, the page loads pretty fast. That page took 4.3 seconds to load or something like that. But the user experience, I think, is great. I mean, or everyone likes the faceted searching. All this stuff over here.
What is faceted searching?
Well, these are facets. Bar type and music genre, and you basically just kind of drill down. So let's say I want to go out and uptown Worker Park tonight. And I want to go to a brew pub. Well, here are the reasons. So I'm able to kind of just drill down by facet the content that I want to see. Before, you used to have these big select lists and that type of stuff, and it wasn't as the search wasn't as intuitive. It wasn't as clickable as that.
So it's basically like you've pre-categorized things, and you just make it easy for the user to navigate through those categories, kind of.
Exactly. And we had to generate an engine behind all this to make all these facets work. So we have this whole taxonomy structure.
Is it basically like tagging things as being related to?
No. It's basically automatic.
It determines, like with natural language processing or something, it determines, oh, this is talking about a brew pub, I'll put it in the brew pub category?
Well, they may have to click a button in the CMS to identify some of the particular features of a bar. But like the neighborhood and that type of stuff, it's all geocoded, and we just figure out the boundaries of a neighborhood. We did some cool stuff with mapping. I think some of it's actually exposed. Some of the mapping stuff we did on this site.
So that's your trial site in Lehigh?
No, this is actually a light version of the site, we call it.
It goes to Lehigh.
And so they don't really have a whole staff in Lehigh Valley, which is Allentown, Pennsylvania, that manages the content. So we kind of do our best to automatically generate a site for them. Not a lot of content there. I have to map it. So we have the ability, so in our CMS we kind of have the ability to map out areas. And so you can imagine what Chicago looks like. It's all these areas mapped and they overlay each other. So you've got Wrigleyville, which is actually part of Lakeview. And so there's this hierarchy of neighborhoods and overlapping boundaries and stuff like that. So that allows some venue to exist in multiple neighborhoods, multiple areas, that type of stuff. And the tool in the CMS looks exactly like this, where they can just drop points on the map and define the boundaries of a neighborhood.
Is the CMS on the 96 mongrels, or you only have it like on a couple?
It runs in a separate. Well, it runs in the same servers, but it runs in its own. It's its own application. So there's more mongrels for those as well. Like
they're not sharing the same cache or anything like that. They're separate.
Well, they do talk to the same cache, because when something changes, we have to flush that cache entry. So some of the stuff we can predict what the keys would be. Content items, those are easy to. When you do a content item on the site, that on the page view, so if I go to lessons and look here, this is the little gallery. That entire page just came out of the cache, and so we can predict what this URL would be, and when in the CMS, when we save somewhere we're going to CMS and update this record, we just we just nuke that entry in the cache.
And that cache is like a distributed cache, so you nuke it.
Them cache?
So
Yeah. So that would get nuked all around. But if you were to do a search, for instance, on, let's see, Lessons in Love or something like that, I don't know, I used to search on love. We have no idea what that's going to return, because from the content management system, it's not available. So if that particular Lessons of Love thing, yeah, there it is. If this were to change here, we can't actually glow. This is cached right here now. I'd probably just put a cache entry in. So hopefully it works faster. Yeah, slightly faster. No, about the same. Actually longer. Those darn ads. Yeah, there's pieces of the page which aren't cached, of course. So we have little dynamic cache areas on the page which if you're logged in, it recognizes that. So this is mostly just TTL caches on those types of results.
What do you use for your load and performance testing, stress testing?
JMeter, just because I knew how to use it.
easy.
Awesome. It's so cool. It's really powerful.
How close could you emulate production environment in your QA?
So we have a staging
testing?
environment which emulates production as close as I could get it on 2 servers. So we have redundant everything in production. So we use those 2 servers to make everything as redundant as possible in the back office. And so from a scale perspective, I don't know, it's going to be like 1/16 of the scale of something like that of production. So, but from a hardware perspective, or from the software perspective, everything is laid out just as it would be in production. And I love, that was the first time we ever did something like that as well. Before, we never had something that mirrored production as closely as we do now. And deployments were kind of an unknown before. Now, we always deploy that staging environment before we go to production. And we find a lot of problems when we go to staging that we didn't anticipate. And so we've caught a lot of issues before it actually went to production. Like paths or something like that, or just some little weirdness because of the balancing and all that kind of stuff that we do in production as opposed to our development environments. That staging environment is really helpful.
You have like a pre-staging environment that shows the daily stuff?
Yeah, we've got a ton of, I think we've got like 8 environments or so. I mean, so developers have their own environments. QA has their environment, customer sign-off has their environment. Then we have the next release. So once we branch our release, that goes into an environment, both for QA and customer sign-off. We also have 2 more environments that mimic production exactly. So the code base itself production is also in the back-office environment, so there's a couple more for that. We have an environment where our feeds people work, so we take a lot of data feeds in from our newspapers and from other providers, so movies and menus and stuff like that. That all comes in through feeds, and we have another environment to test that stuff. Since we just partnered with Gannett, all this stuff used to be behind our firewall. Gannett's outside of our firewall, so we had to create an environment for them to be able to test all their stuff on. So we have another environment out on the internet that they access.
What does your dev environment look like? Like, are you able to write on your laptop, like on the train wirelessly, or do you need to connect back to VPN? You need some data? You run MySQL and...
I have everything in that box right there. That's my personal laptop, so I don't do a lot of work on that. But all of us run Linux desktops, and we'll be switching to Macs hopefully soon, once the new MacBooks come out. But yeah, you can run the entire stack on a Mac like that, or any computer.
You probably wouldn't have been able to do that with the J2E stack before, right? Depending on what
Not
database.
everything.
Yeah.
Not everything. No, we would always connect to
Oracle, JBoss, and Tomcat, and
yeah. So we would have locally we would have